Hey, language teachers! Have you ever wished there was a fast, efficient, and stress free way to assess speaking skills in your class? Maybe you've tried traditional oral exams and felt like they took forever to conduct, left your students anxious, or just didn't really show what they could actually do with the language. Well, you're in the right place. Today I'm going to completely change how you think about oral proficiency interviews, also known as OPIs, so you can get real insights into your students' speaking abilities while keeping it low stress, engaging, and yes, even fun. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to run quick, low prep oral interviews that actually show real proficiency, make students feel comfortable so they speak more naturally, and give instant feedback without overwhelming yourself with grading. And don't worry, this isn't some complicated process with tons of paperwork or a giant rubric that makes your life miserable. I'm going to show you a simple, effective method that works in any classroom and will help you track real growth over time. Quick question for you before we dive in. Have you ever tried doing oral assessments? And if so, what's been the hardest part for you? Drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts. All right, let's get started. Before we get into the how, let's take 30 seconds to clarify what an oral proficiency interview is and why it's so important. So, what is an OPI? It's a structured speaking assessment designed to measure a student's actual ability to communicate in the language. Unlike traditional speaking tests that focus on memorization and scripted answers, OPIs focus on spontaneous, real world communication, which is exactly what our students need to succeed. Why should we use them? Number one, they show true proficiency. Instead of students rehearsing set responses, OPIs let us see how well they can actually communicate on the spot. Two, they're quick. You don't need 20 minutes per student. The right strategy, which I'll show you, lets you assess speaking skills in just a few minutes. Three, they help students improve fast. When done correctly, OPIs double as a teaching tool, helping students get more comfortable speaking in real world situations. All right, now let's dive into the actual steps. Step one, set up a comfortable, low stress environment. One of the biggest mistakes teachers make when conducting OPIs? Making them feel like a test. If students feel like they're under interrogation, they're gonna freeze up. And let's be honest, we don't speak our best when we're nervous. So here are 3 quick strategies to make your students feel at ease. Tip number 1, frame it as a conversation, not a test. Tell your students, we're just gonna have a little chat today. No right or wrong answers, just do your best to communicate. This takes the pressure off and makes them focus on using what they know instead of worrying about mistakes. Tip number 2, start with personal or familiar topics. Begin with easy, personalized questions that students feel comfortable answering. For example, tell me about your weekend, or what's your favorite food and why, or describe your ideal vacation. This builds confidence before moving into more complex, level appropriate questions. Tip 3, keep it short, 2 to 4 minutes max. We don't need 10-minute interviews per student. In most cases, 2 to 4 minutes is enough to get a clear picture of their speaking ability. Step number 2, structure your questions for maximum insight. Now let's talk about what to ask. We want to structure our interviews strategically so we get useful, accurate data on student proficiency. The key, use a mix of these 3 question types. 1, warm-up questions. These are at the novice level. These are low-stress, predictable questions that help students ease into the interview. What's your name? How old are you? Where do you live? 2 are level check questions. These are the intermediate level. Once students are comfortable, move into questions that require more detail. What do you like to do on your weekends? Tell me about your family. Describe your daily routine. 3, push the limit questions. These are advanced level. Finally, challenge students by asking open-ended or hypothetical questions. If you won the lottery tomorrow, what would you do? Tell me about a time you had to solve a problem. If you could live anywhere in the world, where would you go and why? This gradual progression lets us pinpoint each student's highest level of proficiency without making them feel overwhelmed. Step 3, give instant feedback that actually helps. Now, what do we do after the interview? We give quick, actionable feedback so students can improve their speaking skills immediately. Now, here's the golden rule. Praise effort before pointing out mistakes. Highlight those strengths first, then give one simple suggestion for improvement. For example, wow, you use full sentences really well. Now try to add some more transition words like because or so that to make your ideas connect even better. This way, students leave the interview feeling confident and motivated to improve. Want to make OPIs even easier? Here are 3 quick hacks. 1, use a question bank. Have pre-made question sets for each proficiency level so you don't have to come up with questions on the spot. 2, let students record themselves. If time is tight, let students record their answers using your learning management system or another app so you can assess them later. 3, peer interviews for extra practice. Pair up students and have them practice interviewing each other before the real OPI with you. Ready to take it to the next level? Before we wrap up, if you want to know where you stand in your CI teaching journey, take our free CI proficiency quiz at mm.us/CI quiz. This will give you insights into your own strengths and areas to grow so you can keep leveling up as a CI teacher. So what do you think? Will you try these strategies in your classroom? Let me know in the comments. And if you want even more ways to engage students and assess speaking in a fun way, check out this next video right here. Happy comprehensible input!